Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove and I'm back with this week's No Filter Q&A. This is the episode where I answer all questions related to diet, training, and supplementation that I received over the last 7 days from our in-house clients, online clients, as well as a few of our online followers. Remember, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you're taking, not taking, considering taking, please feel free to email me those questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. As a reminder, with the holidays coming up, our Forever Fit Performance gift cards are back in stock. You can pick our gift cards up at our gym in downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, or our gym in Burnaby, Brentwood Mall area, or you can always send me an email and I will mail you a gift card with the amount that you'd like in the balance. These would make great gifts for Christmas, birthdays, whatever event is that staff parties, raffle draws. These are great for personal training packages, online training programs, small group training. Basically, you tell us the balance that you want to put in, we'll put it in for you, and you can apply that to, or your friend or loved one or whoever can apply that to their personal training package with us. So if you'd like more information on that, you can DM me on my Instagram, @fitcosgrove_. You can email me, nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can pick up one of your gift cards at one of our downtown location, our Burnaby location in Vancouver, British Columbia. All right, so let's get started with this week's No Filter Q&A with question number 1. Nick, why is my body so sore to work out after taking a week or 2 off from the gym? It's really frustrating as I feel like I'm going to tear a muscle or break something each time I go back to the gym. Is there anything I can take to help stop this from happening? There's nothing that you can take, but there's something you could do, and that's stop taking prolonged periods of time away from the gym, okay? That should probably go without saying. The problem is when you do take this stop and go approach, where you go to the gym for 3 weeks on and you take a week off. You go to the gym for 1 month on and you take 2 weeks off. It's confusing your body, and it's not confusing your body in a good way. It's confusing your body in a bad way. And I see this with a lot of my clients that go away on vacation for 3 to 4 weeks, and they'll come back and I'll ask them, do you do anything while you're away? And 9 times out of 10, they don't work out on their own. So what happens is the joints and the tendons and the muscles are very tight, right? As you say, you feel like you're going to tear something, and you very well could tear something because you haven't been mobile for 2-3 weeks, right? So when you're not working out, your body stops creating what we call synovial fluid. Now, synovial fluid acts like the lubrication for our joints, our tendons, and our muscle bellies. If our body doesn't have that, everything gets very tight. If you wake up in the morning, you get out of bed and you hear your knees crack, right? Or you wake up and you move your elbows around and all of a sudden you hear your elbows crack. That's a sign of a lack of synovial fluid in your joints, right? So I compare synovial fluid to like WD-40. If you have a door that constantly squeaks every time you open and close it, you put some WD-40 to spray on the actual door, the door stops squeaking, right? So it's like rusty joints, rusty tendons, rusty muscle bellies. You need to reproduce that synovial fluid back into the area. So that's what's happening. When you stop working out, your body just stops producing that synovial fluid. Another thing your body stops producing is glycogen. Now, glycogen is essential for working out. Glycogen is like oxygen for your muscle bellies. If your body does not have glycogen storage, it's very difficult for you to get through a resistance training workout. That's why you see a lot of beginners when they first start in the gym, they burn out very quickly with they're doing like even very light weights. They could be doing a light dumbbell press or very light weights, but they burn out very quickly. It's because their body is not producing glycogen yet. So the more consistent you are with your weight training, your body will be able to produce glycogen at a more efficient speed, and therefore you'll be able to recover faster. So this is why it's crucial to not take prolonged periods of time away from the gym. So with that being said, if you're noticing that your joints are sore, your tendons are sore, my recommendation, keep your reps high for the first few weeks back in the gym, keep the weights light, keep the rest period short. You might want to supplement like something like glutamine that can help with muscle soreness. But again, these supplements will only help to a certain extent. I'm not a huge believer in that how effective these supplements really are, especially the over-the-counter ones. They work to some degree, but I wouldn't rely on them. So what you need to do is get back in the gym, continue to train on a consistent basis. It's going to be tough, but remind yourself this is not what you want to feel on a regular basis, which is why it's important to go to the gym consistently, take 1 or 2 days off a week, but don't be taking 2-3 weeks off at a time, because again, that stop and go approach does not work and you're asking for an injury. So that's my recommendation, and that's why that's happening. Your body's not producing synovial fluid and glycogen at an efficient speed, and therefore your body's not recovering fast enough throughout your workouts, and you're feeling that tightness in the joints, tendons, and muscle bellies. So get back to the gym, train on a consistent basis, Try to train at least 3 to 4 times a week, ideally 5 to 6 days a week, but continually. Okay, so you got to stop this stop and go approach. And I see a lot of people do this. They kind of fall off the wagon, but if you're going to fall off the wagon, this will keep repeating. It's not going to fix itself. There's no supplement out there that's going to really make that much of a difference. As I said, glutamine will help to some extent, but it's not going to make a huge difference. Okay, you could also take glucosamine. That's a powder that you could use for your joints. But again, I'm telling you right now, even glutamine and glucosamine alone will not help. You have to stay consistent with your workouts. So find a way to remain consistent, remain motivated, and stay focused on your training. And don't miss 1 or 2 weeks. Don't allow yourself to do that, because the cycle will keep repeating itself. I promise you. All right. Next question. Nick, I'm curious as to why you recommend doing one-arm dumbbell rows against a bench instead of on a bench. The standard way you see people doing one-arm rows in the gym is one leg on a bench, one leg on a floor. The problem with that particular way of performing the exercise is you're not using your stabilizers correctly. So what happens is you're using a lot of your hip abductor to pull that weight up. You're using a lot of momentum. You're using a lot of bicep. So if you take your leg off the bench, and I'm going to attach a video to this video. I'm going to attach a video from my Instagram to this video so people can see what I'm talking about. Is if you take yourself off the bench and you put one leg back, you're no longer resting that leg against the bench, and now you're actually using your stabilizers correctly, and you're not going to be using momentum, and you can't use your legs to help you because both legs are planted on the ground. You don't have one leg on the bench and one leg on the ground, so you can use a little bit of momentum. Okay, so you want to train the lat. This is an isolation exercise, so in order to isolate the lat in a more efficient manner, you have to take out any synergist muscle groups. When it comes to a one-arm row, the best way to do that is to make sure that you're not having any help from the bench. You don't want to have any cheat from an elevation, and that's what the bench does. So you don't have to go against the bench. I just demonstrate in those videos against the bench. You could do it against a dumbbell rack, but as long as you're not resting one leg on the bench, because I promise you that's not the most efficient way to activate the lat. And in a one-arm row, you're trying to isolate and activate the lat. So in order to do that, my recommendation, both legs on the floor, but one leg extended back, and do your one-arm rows like that. As I said, I'll attach a video to this video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And don't forget too, you can always join my online coaching app, which has tons of training videos, tons of training tutorial videos, and teaches you how to do these exercises correctly. And you'd be surprised because there's a lot of exercises that we see so many people doing in commercial gyms these days, and it's just kind of the monkey see, monkey do. And, there's bad form going on, terrible technique, and people just copy it and they go along with it because they say, well, that person's doing it, so that must be the way to do it. But for the most part, a lot of the way that these exercises are being done are being done in an incorrect manner. So you want to make sure that you're stimulating the proper muscle belly so you get the most out of the exercise. Okay, so one-arm row, don't put the leg on the bench. Both legs on the ground. If you're doing your right side, your right leg should stay back. When you're doing your left side, your left leg should stay back, and you'll get the most out of your lats. You'll actually feel the stretch in your lats more as well. All right. Okay. Hi, Nick. What do you think about this meal? Kidney beans, brown rice, arugula, and maple syrup. I eat mostly vegetarian options, and I've been trying to eat as clean as possible lately. It's not a bad meal, fairly healthy meal. You have to remember, though, as a vegetarian, you are at risk for high carbohydrate meals. Okay, and I tell this to all my vegetarians. Right now, I have a roster that contains, I think, about 6 or 7 vegetarians and 2 vegans. So one of the things that you have to watch for when you're following a vegetarian diet are the carbohydrates. In this meal in particular, you're getting your protein from your kidney beans, which is great, but you have to remember kidney beans also contain carbohydrates, as do brown rice. So my recommendation when combining 2 carbohydrate sources, one that you're using as a protein source, would be to lower your rice intake while increasing your kidney bean intake. So for example, that could look like something like 2/3 of a cup of kidney beans with 1/4 cup of brown rice. That should be fine. But what I wouldn't be doing is saying a cup of brown rice and then a cup of kidney beans, because that's going to be a lot of carbohydrates. So even if you're someone who's trying to gain weight, you want to make sure you're gaining proper weight. You don't want to be gaining body fat. So you don't want to go into a caloric surplus, and that would definitely put you into one. Okay. So just when you're pairing your meals with the vegetarian options, I should say, you just want to make sure that your protein sources are high. Okay, so in this case, the kidney beans, and your direct carbohydrate source, like the brown rice, are a little bit on the lower side. So like I said, 2/3 of a cup of kidney beans, and then you can do 1/4 of a cup of brown rice. Have as much arugula as you like. I mean, I don't really count greens as anything. I always tell my clients on their nutritional plans, don't even measure your greens, have as much as you like. The only thing I will say though is the maple syrup. That's a bit of an odd one, but maple syrup is very calorically dense and it's very high in sugar. So that would be something that I would either eliminate or use very sparingly. So like maybe a teaspoon. But honestly, I mean, it's not that maple syrup is bad, especially if you're using real maple syrup, not that Aunt Jemima or any of the crap that they serve at like those cafes like Denny's and stuff like that. But using real maple syrup, that's obviously better. But you have to remember it is full of sugar. So you don't want to be consuming too much of that. So I'd watch the maple syrup. I'd rather switch something like the maple syrup for something like extra virgin olive oil or natural peanut butter, because then you get some good fats in there as well. So then you have a very like balanced protein, carbohydrate, and fat meal there. Okay, that's what I would do. Reminder, if you do need help with your nutritional plan, you can always DM me on Instagram, @fitcosgrove_, or you can email me at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, and I'm happy to help you by designing a customized nutritional plan for you. As I mentioned, I work with vegetarians and vegans, so I can definitely customize a program specifically for you if you are someone who is trying to either eliminate or at least decrease your meat options. Okay. Okay. Right, I lost my spot. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hi, Nick. What do you think about New Year's fitness resolutions? Do you find most people stay committed to them or fall off after a few weeks? I mean, I think statistically speaking, most people fall off their New Year's fitness resolutions, right? We've heard people joining the gym at the first of the month or first of the year, January 1st, and then by February 1st, they're all gone. I don't work in commercial gyms anymore, so it's really hard for me to gauge that. And I have to be honest, we don't really get a lot of New Year's resolutioners coming to see us. Most people who come to work with us, they come to work with us throughout the year. So we don't really see like a surplus of people coming in on New Year's day. That doesn't really happen for our company anyway. So I can't really speak on that stat. But I will say that from what I've seen in the past from working in commercial gyms, yeah, I see a lot of people, more people in the gym in January for sure. And then by mid-February, early March, they start to dwindle out. I think it's because a lot of people who make New Year's fitness resolutions, they don't really have a game plan. Their game plan is to go in and say, I want to work out because I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm like, great, but how are you going to lose those 10 pounds? It's not just go to the gym and lose 10 pounds. What's your program? What's your diet? What's your supplement protocol? These are things that you have to put together. It's like if you're going to war, you have to go to war with ammunition. You can't just show up at war, right? Empty-handed. You have to have a plan. So just showing up at the gym is not enough. You have to have a program in place. You have to have a nutritional plan in place, and you have to have a supplement protocol in place. So that's why I feel like most people don't succeed on their New Year's fitness resolutions, because they haven't planned accordingly. Okay. But like I said, most of my clientele, I don't think I've ever got any clients that came to work with me on a New Year's resolution. Most people that come to work with us, they work with us throughout the year. But if you're talking about the average person who just goes to the gym and joins the gym on the first of the year, yeah, that's pretty common. And gyms love that because they usually sign you up for at least a 1-year contract that you can't get out of. So then you're left paying for the other 11, 10 months and you're not even going to the gym. So they love that because they just have more space to bring in new members again, and you're paying for space you're not even using. So if you're going to make a New Year's fitness resolution and you're someone who doesn't really go to the gym, my recommendation, and I'm not trying to make a sale here, I mean, it doesn't have to be with us, but would be to actually work with a personal trainer. Okay. Because if you know you're someone who's not going to be going to the gym on a regular basis and you know yourself, you're going to want to work with someone who's going to hold you accountable. So spend the extra money and work with a professional. As I mentioned last week, hire someone who's a reputable, knowledgeable, and experienced personal trainer. There's tons out there. Do your research. Make sure they come with lots of Google reviews, excellent testimonials on the website. But that's what you should be doing, because your money is going to be better spent working with a reputable, knowledgeable, and experienced personal trainer than wasting it at a commercial gym that you're only going to go to 1 to 2 months of the year, and then you're not going to go for the rest of the year. Okay, so at least working with a trainer will hold you accountable. Okay, so that's why I'd recommend for most New Year's resolutioners, if you're going to make a fitness resolution, it should be to work with a trainer. Okay, next question. Well, long question here. Okay. Hi, Nick. I just received my results from the hormones test that I did through my naturopath. The test was done through urine samples that she had me send off to a lab to have completed. My testosterone levels are within normal range, but my estrogen levels are very high for a man. My naturopath recommended a liver supplement and adrenal aid that she sells to her clients to help bring my levels down. Do you think these supplements will help bring my levels down? And is there anything else I can do to help fix this problem? Okay, long question. So let me try to break this down a little bit. First of all, I'm gonna just say one thing. I'm not a huge advocate of urine samples when it comes to getting your hormones tested. Blood work is always more efficient. Okay. There are some discrepancies when you're doing urine samples. So, for example, if your estrogen levels are high, well, is it diet related? Is it maybe because you haven't been sleeping properly in the last few weeks? So, have you gained weight in the last few months? So these are all factors to take into consideration if your estrogen levels are higher than normal. The problem with urine analysis versus blood work is that it's not as accurate and it can fluctuate. Okay, so it's a wide range. So that's why I don't like urine analysis over blood work. I find blood work to be way more efficient. So ideally, she should have sent you for blood work. I'm assuming the lab that she sent you to, she's probably doing some work with it, and they only take the urine samples. They're easier to process. You don't have to go to an actual lab yourself. You don't have to have a nurse draw out your blood. So I'm assuming that's the reason. But I'm really not a huge advocate of these urine tests, especially when you're getting your hormones tested. I just don't think they're that accurate. Okay, so I'm just going to put that out there. Second thing, you had mentioned, what was it? Oh, that your naturopath recommended a liver supplement and adrenal aid. Another thing that I'm not a big fan of are naturopaths who push their own supplement lines on people. I don't agree with that. I think that's a conflict of interest. If you are a true professional, okay, you don't see like many doctors doing this, but if you are a true professional, you're not going to say, hey, I think you should take this, and it just so happens that I sell this, right? Like, that to me sounds a little bit off. Like, if you truly believe that your client is deficient in something, let's say they're deficient in vitamin D, what do? You send them to Shoppers Drug Mart and say, go pick up some vitamin D. Okay, you have a vitamin D deficiency. But to say, well, I just happen to sell this vitamin D and it just happens to be $30 more or $40 more than what you can just get at the local drugstore, you should buy this. So I think that's a conflict of interest when I see naturopaths pushing their own supplement line. And also, I don't really see how a liver aid is going to help, or a liver supplement is going to help if you do have high estrogen levels. I don't really see how one has to do with the other. I can see how an adrenal aid would help if you have adrenal fatigue. That might help lower estrogen levels, yes. But again, I don't know if it's absolutely necessary. What I would do is I would get my blood work done, okay? And I would see what your estrogen levels are through your blood work. Now, once you have that information, you'll be able to go off what should you do. As I said, I'd have to work with you in person to understand everything that's going on, all the factors, all the contributing factors that could be causing your estrogen levels to be elevated. Yes, it could be genetics, and yes, it could be lifestyle. But what I've noticed with a lot of guys that I've worked with over the years who actually do suffer from higher estrogen levels, it's usually due to an increase in weight. Very much so with their diet. If someone's consuming like a lot of dairy, a lot of soy, that can elevate your estrogen levels. Okay, I've seen that happen with men. And stress is a big one. So if your cortisol levels are high, that can also increase estrogen. One thing to remember too, though, estrogen is not necessarily a bad thing. I think a lot of guys think, oh, estrogen is super bad. The lower the estrogen, the better. Your body as a man, we actually do need estrogen. Okay. If you don't have any estrogen in your body, you can kiss your libido goodbye. You're not going to have a libido whatsoever. So we do need estrogen in our body for our libidos to function properly. Okay. So you don't want to eliminate your estrogen completely. Now, I have a lot of guys who are on, that I train that are on steroid cycles, for example, right? Or they're on testosterone replacement therapy. And they'll take an aromatizer like Arimidex that will help keep their estrogen levels low. And then they'll message me. I've had this email come through a few times over the years where they'll say, Nick, I don't know what's going on. My sex drive is so low, but I'm on all this testosterone. I'm taking this. I don't understand. I say, well, you're also taking an aromatizer, which is lowering your estrogen levels. So you have your estrogen levels are like in the basement. Get off that aromatizer. You don't need to be on it. Some guys do because they're more prone to baldness or they're prone to gyno, which is like the nipples are very sensitive. Okay, so those guys need to go on an aromatizer. But if you're not prone to that, and as a man, there's no reason for you to be on it, right? So just watch that too, because we do need estrogen. And I know I'm going off here a little bit, but I'm trying to explain to you, it's very important to not eliminate estrogen completely. But again, you don't want your estrogen levels too high because obviously that's going to cause other issues, right? Such as fatigue. It can also cause a low sex drive if your estrogen levels are too high. So you got to find that balance, right? But it can cause depression. It can cause all these issues that you don't want as a man, right? So it's good to get them checked and in line. But my recommendation would be to get your blood work done. And also assess your nutritional plan and assess your workout program, assess your stress levels, okay? And if you're not sure about your workout program or your nutritional plan, then you might want to work for another fitness professional just to help guide you along with that and set up a program for you. And then get your blood work done in another 6 months, okay? Because chances are that will work. And if it doesn't work, yeah, you can go on some supplements for sure. But I don't think a liver aid and adrenal aid are going to really help. I don't know. And I don't think naturopaths should be pushing their own supplements on clients. I think that's a complete conflict of interest. I don't think it's professional, and I've always been against that. All right. Next question. Hi, Nick. I have a really bad habit of binge eating at night. It's mostly just mindless snacking. Do you have any tips that I could try doing in order to break this habit? Thanks. You know, the best way to break a habit, in my opinion, is to get out of your routine. So if you're someone who's doing the mindless snacking at night, well, you have to break your nighttime routine. So if you're home at night and say it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night and you're just watching TV, you might have to step away from that watching TV at home at night for 5, 6, maybe 2 days, 2 weeks, or I was sorry, 5, 6 days, or even like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you know, just to get out of that habit, out of that routine. So you might want to maybe take up some yoga at night, right? Maybe work out at night, go to the gym, or try to socialize with friends at a coffee shop, right? So try to break that habit of being at home at night, because you're putting yourself in that setting where you're relaxed and you're doing that mindless snacking. So that's one way, right? And they do say it takes 21 days to develop a habit. That's what I'm saying. You might want to do that for 5 to 6 days to 2 to 3 weeks, just to get you out of that habit. Because if you're not actually hungry, and it is just that mindless snacking and it's comfort eating, you need to remove yourself from the place where you're getting that comfort from, which in your case is at home, right? So it's very common for people to binge eat at night. You know, you're relaxed, it's the end of the day. And people just, it's very common. I get a lot of people who I work with, and that seems to be their biggest downfall, is the binge eating at night. Another thing though I would be doing is I would be looking at your diet during the day. Are you eating enough food? Are you drinking enough water? Because that could be a problem too. You know, if you're someone like most people who skip breakfast, and I'm not one of those people who say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but if you're someone who skips breakfast and then you go, 2 or 3 hours into your day and you haven't eaten anything, and you might have like a muffin at, let's say, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then you don't eat again until maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and maybe it's just something like a sandwich. Well, you had like 2 half-ass meals, and by the time you get home, no wonder you're going to be starving because you haven't eaten anything all day. And usually when our body is like, when we're working, or we say we're working our job, or we're constantly on the go, we tend to forget about food, right? And then when your body finally sits down, it's like, oh, wow, I'm hungry. I need to eat. And if you're someone who's only having like 1 or maybe 2 meals during the day, chances are your blood sugar levels are going to be low. So your body's going to be ravenous. It's going to want more food, right? And so the best way to get that, more carbohydrates in. Let's get those blood sugars back up. Let's elevate those insulin levels. And all that does, it's going to spike your insulin levels. It's going to create more problems. And that creates people wanting to binge, right? So if it's, you have to assess of whether it's just out of boredom or if it's actual true hunger. So if it's out of boredom, my recommendation would be to switch your routine up for a bit. As I said, join a yoga class, go to the gym, hang out with friends in a social setting, go to movies, just so you remove yourself from your home so you're not tempted to be around all the food. And, do that for, if you have to, 3 weeks, just to really get out of that routine. And that should help. If you're doing it because of hunger, I would be looking at your diet and saying, okay, obviously I've got to eat more food throughout the day, so I'm not so hungry at the end of the day. So I'm not doing all this snacking, right? I'm not doing all this binge eating. But that would be something, those are the 2 things that I would be looking at to help break a habit like binge eating, because it's very common. And usually with working with people, I find that using one of those strategies usually works. But again, it's trying to figure out, is the person actually hungry, or are they doing it out of boredom? And once we know that information, then we can apply the strategic move to move forward on. All right. Hi, Nick. Do you recommend timing your rest periods in the gym? I don't think timing your rest periods is necessary. What I usually tell clients that I'm working with is, the rule of thumb, go when you're about 70% recovered. So you do a set of, let's say, barbell back squats, right? And you do that set and you feel like, oh man, that was tough. I need a second. I need a minute. Take that minute, okay? You need to come back when you feel about 70% recovered. Now, obviously, if you're someone who's not very fit, that minute might turn into 2 or 3 minutes. But as long as you're using that time to rest, that should be fine. You're not using it to look at your phone, because that can be very distracting. You're actually using that time to rest and think about your next set. Can I increase my weight? Should I decrease my weight, right? What was my tempo? What was my form like? That's those things. Those are the things that you should be thinking about, right? How can I make my form better? How can I increase my weight? That's what you should be thinking about. And then you apply it. Okay, when should I go back? When you're about 70% recovered. And that usually works for most people. And only you know that because you're inside your body. You know what you feel like. So you don't go back when you're 30% recovered because chances are you're going to do a half-ass set. You're going to burn out and you risk injury. But you also don't want to go back when you're 100% recovered because you're not going to stimulate any new muscle growth. So that's why, again, I tell people, don't worry about timing your rest periods. Just try to focus on, okay, come back into, if I do circuit training with my group class, I'll say, you come back, I'm back into the circuit when you feel ready. With those classes, I usually time the rest periods, yes, but those are classes. But if I'm working with someone individually, one-on-one, I'll just say, we go when you're ready. And as I work with someone for a longer period of time, I notice as their fitness level gets better, their rest periods get shorter, right? But if I'm working with someone for the first few months or first few weeks and they've never really been to the gym, it's not like unusual for someone to need to take 2 or 3 minutes in between sets because they're just not, their fitness level is just not there yet. And so be patient, take time. But I wouldn't worry about timing your rest periods. As I said, I do time rest periods in group classes, but I still tell my clients in group classes, I'm like, still come back into the circuit when you're ready. If you're not ready yet, you take as long as you need, you come back. With my clients who work with me privately or in partner sessions, I'll tell them same thing. You come back when you're 70% recovered, and then we start again, okay? So that's what I would be gauging on. Go about 70%. Try to stay focused on your next set. Try to keep all the distractions away. Like I said, don't be cruising Instagram or looking at TikTok or looking at Facebook photos, all this stuff. Just stay focused on your next set. Your workout's only 45 minutes to an hour, so there's really no reason that you should be on your phone. All right. Hi, Nick. How much cardio should I be doing each day if I want to lose 25 pounds within 8 weeks? I want to weigh 200 pounds by February 1st and currently just do weights 3 times a week. Diet is okay, but needs work. Thank you. Whenever I'm working with someone on a weight loss program, I don't even start them with cardio right away. I don't even give them cardio for the first week, sometimes 2 weeks, because I use cardio as a tool to burn fat after the diet stops working, okay? And what I mean by that is if I start someone on a weight loss program, 12-week weight loss program, I'll start them on a resistance training program, and I'll put them on a fairly good nutritional plan to start, right? And what I'll be doing is I'll do macronutrient rotations on their diet plan. And then if that person's working with me for first week and they lose 2 pounds, great, perfect, no cardio. Second week, they lose more weight, they lose another 2 pounds, great, still no cardio. Now we get to that third week and all of a sudden, they just lose 1 pound. Okay, well, we have an option here to either decrease calories or we can start adding in cardio. And what I usually do in that scenario is I'll make the decision based on, first of all, how many calories I've given the individual I'm working with. If the person I'm working with is on a fairly high calorie diet, a high caloric diet, I should say, and they're losing weight, perfect. I'll just start dropping the calories a little bit. But if they're already on a lower caloric intake, daily intake, because remember, some people's metabolisms are faster than others, so it really depends on the individual. But if they're already following a fairly low caloric plan, then what I might say is I'm going to leave the diet the same, but we're going to start adding in cardio. Now, I won't add in an hour of cardio. I'll add in like 20 minutes of cardio. So, okay, I want you to do 20 minutes of cardio, either first thing in the morning in a fasted state or immediately after your workout. Perfect. Then we go to week 4 and the person's back to losing 2 pounds a week. Go to week 5, they're losing 2 pounds a week. Week 6 hits, now we've hit a plateau. Now we haven't lost any weight. So what do? Well, again, if it's the person who's on a low caloric plan, I increase the cardio. So I'll slowly add in maybe another 10 or 15, maybe even 20 minutes of cardio. And this, again, will really depend on the individual I'm working with. If the person is still on a very high caloric intake, I might not add them any more cardio. I might say, okay, now we're going to take out another 300, 400 calories per day. But as I said, I do macronutrient rotation. So I'll usually deplete their carbohydrates or lower their fat, something like that. I usually keep protein fairly high and consistent. I don't like to reduce protein by too much. So again, it's an individual based answer, but it seems to work better for most people when they don't rely on cardio to burn fat. You can still do cardio if you want for your heart, right? You want to make sure your cardiovascular endurance is good. I personally don't do any cardio anymore. My cardio is walking to and from my gym, but my workouts are very intense. So I'm still doing cardio. I'm just not doing directly cardio on a treadmill. And what I've noticed over the last few years since I stopped doing cardio on the treadmill is I've been able to keep my body fat very low and my cardiovascular endurance is still very high. It's excellent, right? I don't rest long between sets. So you don't necessarily need to be on a treadmill to be doing cardio, okay? That's a misconception. So it's not about how much cardio you should be doing. I would be looking at your diet first, making sure your diet is in check with your workout program, and then do as little as possible of cardio to lose weight. Okay. Because if you start from day one, you have 8 weeks, and you start on week one doing an hour of cardio, what's going to happen when you hit that plateau on week 4? What are you going to do then? You're going to do 2 hours of cardio? So you want to save as much ammunition as possible. Okay. So what you do is you don't go into a gunfight shooting all your bullets in the air right away, right? You save for what you need. Okay. So you want to save as many tools as you possibly can. So if you can get good results with doing the least amount of work, that's working smarter, not harder. So that's why I can't stress this enough. Do not rely on cardio to burn fat. It does not work. It works short term, but once you hit that plateau, what do? Right? So that's why I say rely on the diet with the weights. And when you stop losing weight, start incorporating cardio slowly. 20 minutes, 2 weeks, 40 minutes, 2 weeks, 60 minutes, 2 weeks. I don't think I have a single person on my roster doing more than 60 minutes of cardio right now. And that's including people who are competing for bodybuilding shows right now. I just don't feel it's necessary. Okay. So cardio is great for your heart, but don't rely on it solely for fat loss. Okay. I think that might be it for the questions. Oh, no, there's 2 more questions. Okay. Nick, do you notice that people just don't seem to train hard in the gym anymore? I see so many people half my age in the gym just sitting around on equipment while using their phone and barely breaking a sweat. I'm 63 and feel I get twice the amount of sets done than they do, while even lifting heavier weights. What's going on with today's generation? Oh, that's a loaded question. I don't want to insult anyone here, so I'm going to be careful with my words. I think the younger generation might be getting a little soft. I think they've had too much comfort. I think we're slowly raising a generation of wimps. I do. You have all these options that make life easier. You have Uber Eats, you have Uber Lifts, you have, people that Amazon that delivers your groceries to your door. So things have become much more convenient. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, that can translate into other areas like the gym. There's no way of getting around getting a great physique, building a great physique by sitting on your ass. You have to work. Okay. You even talk to people who use steroids, enhanced lifters. They still have to put in the work. You can't just take steroids and sit on your ass and think you're going to gain muscle. It doesn't work like that. And if you're a natural athlete, you're going to have to work twice as hard. So that's the one thing that you can't rely on convenience for. You have to put in the work in the gym. If you're not willing to bust your ass in the gym, you can forget about developing a great looking physique. You can forget about improving your health because you're not doing the work necessary to get those results. So I do think, and I don't want to say that the entire generation are wimps. I've seen some people in their 20s or early 20s in the gym busting their ass in the gym. There's guys and women in my gym doing that. So it's not an entire generation. But for the most part, yeah, and I do blame technology. I think it's made people a little bit more comfortable in life, a lot more comfortable in life. And that comfort translates into the gym. And you cannot be comfortable in the gym. If you're serious about getting results with your health, your fitness, and your physique, you have to train hard. Okay. You can't there's no app for that. Okay. Like even my coaching app, I tell people you can download my coaching app, but if you're not following the exercises and the training programs and the diet plan that I lay out for you, you're not going to get results. The app's not going to do it for you. You've got to put in the work. Okay. So when you talk about, you see the younger kids and they're not doing the work, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Like I mentioned in the last question, I've seen people on their phones, both young and old though. I see some older people on their phones too. So you can't just single out the younger generation because there are some baby boomers out there they're glued to their phone too. But I do see it with the younger generation, and I do blame technology. I just think there's too many distractions now. People want everything convenient and comfortable. And listen, the gym cannot be convenient. The gym cannot be comfortable. Yes, you will have to take sometimes an hour and a half, 2 hours out of your day to go to the gym, set up everything, do your workout, and leave. Yes, but you have to make that time. And there's 24 hours in a day. So when someone tells me I don't have the time, that is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. Okay. There's always time. You just have to make it. Okay. So as I said, I don't want to single out a whole generation because I do see older people doing this as well. But I do think the reason why we see a lot more people, not just young people, but a lot more people training with less intensity, less focus in the gym is because of technology. Everything is easier. Everything is comfortable. The phone is a distraction. So the one thing that you cannot rely on comfort and convenience is working out. You have to put in the work. And that's the great thing about weightlifting is that the results that you achieve, you are the only person that can take credit for those results because you're putting in the work. Even with my clients, I never take credit for my clients' results. I always say, I can just give you the roadmap needed, but you're the one that has to take that roadmap and put it to work. Okay. So I can give you the tools necessary for you to succeed, but you have to use them. Right. I can't do the diet for you. I can't do the workout for you. You have to do it. So for those people that get it, they get the results. For those people that don't, they don't get the results. Again, I don't necessarily think it's a generational thing, but I do think that we're now living in a society that technology just enables us to do things at a much more convenient and more comfortable pace, that it's just people are forgetting you need to work your ass off for certain things in life. And if you're not willing to put in the work, you're not going to get the results when it comes to developing your physique and improving your health, period. All right, last question. Nick, I'm sure you've heard this statistic before, but I read that the average lifespan of a newly qualified personal trainer in the fitness industry is about 6 months. First, do you agree with this? And second, why does this happen if it's true? Asking as I'm thinking of taking a few PT courses to get licensed next year. I haven't fact checked that stat, so I don't know if it is true, but that wouldn't surprise me. And I'll give you an idea. When I went to my PT course years ago, it's like 2003 or 4. I don't know a single person in my PT course that is actually personal training to this day. When I started my personal training business, I was working out of a private gym and I was paying rent as a private contractor. And every single private contractor that I worked with, some who I'm still in contact with today, not a single one of them is a personal trainer at this time. They've gone into real estate, they've become hairdressers, they've gone back to school to do something else, whether in healthcare, nurse, but they're no longer personal trainers. And I think what happens with a lot of people is when they get into this industry, they do so because they have a passion for fitness. They love working out. And a lot of people do so because they want to help other people work out, which is great. But you also have to have a business plan. You can't just go in thinking, oh, I love working out, so I'm in great shape, so I'm going to motivate people to work out and get them in great shape. It doesn't work like that because the average person doesn't want to work out. The average person doesn't even want to work with a personal trainer. That's why you get a lot of people who work out in commercial gyms on their own. So as someone who's in the fitness industry, yes, you have to promote yourself, you have to promote your brand, but you also have to know how to run a business. Okay. So if you're someone who's going in and saying, well, I'm just going to load up my roster and, I'll work with like, say, 50 to 100 people and I'll do all these one-on-one sessions, you're going to burn out. You're not going to last. I've seen people burn out in this industry because they're too busy and then they don't want to do it anymore. They've lost their love for fitness. They've lost their love for helping people achieve their health and fitness goals because they just burned out. And I made that mistake in my first years of personal training. I thought I could do it all on my own, but you can't. You need a team. So that's why I started hiring other trainers to help me build my brand, right? And I started doing small group classes that would help actually bring in more revenue for an hour time slot as opposed to a one-on-one private training session. So I do a combination of private training sessions with partner training sessions, small group training sessions, online training sessions. I have other trainers helping me with the business because I can't work 24 hours a day, right? I can't do that. It's impossible. So you have to think outside the box. So you can't just go in thinking, oh, I love this job, it's my passion, and I'm going to succeed. If you don't have a business plan, you will fail. Absolutely, you will fail. And another thing is when I first started in this industry, I was still working in restaurants and clubs at the time. I didn't just quit my job. I was going to say my day job, but it was a night job. I didn't quit my night job and just go into personal training. I still had something to fall back on. So as I grew my business slowly, I was still getting income from restaurants and clubs. And once I got busy enough to quit those industries, I did. But if you don't have a game plan, you will fail in this industry. Okay. And I've seen it before. So I've seen people fail because they're either not busy enough, or I've seen people get so busy that they just get overwhelmed and they get burnt out. And that's very common. So the one thing I would recommend, and I wish I did this when I first started taking my PT courses, personal training courses, was take some business courses as well. I learned the hard way. And if I could go back in time now, I would have taken some business courses because I think they would help me get my business to where it is today in a much more quicker and efficient manner. But again, I learned through trial and error. And fortunately for me, I'm now at a place in my business where I have done well and I am quite successful. And as I said, I mentioned this on an Instagram post the other day. I owe a lot of my success. Actually, I owe all my success to my clients. I have a great roster of clients who supported me, trainers that I work with who supported me over the years, and just making those connections over the years. But it took a long time. And I think if I had taken some business courses, that would have helped me get to where I am today in a much shorter period of time. So if you're a new trainer and you're looking to grow and expand your business, my recommendation, take some business courses, because you cannot, I promise you cannot do this on your own. You can make a decent salary on your own for sure. If you're doing one-on-ones and you're charging 150 an hour, sure, you can make 150, 200K a year. And that's a decent salary, of course. But if you want to grow and you want to be able to, make more than that, then you've got to think outside the box. And you think, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And as I said, there's more in this industry than just doing private training sessions. You can do partner training sessions. You can do small group training sessions. Online training is huge. Online training now makes up 60% of my business. Right? 10 years ago, it was the other way around. It was like 70, 80% of my business was on the floor and 20, 30% of it's online. So it's changed with time. So you just have to, again, think outside the box. That's my recommendation. Take some business courses, because without them, your passion for fitness alone will not get you to the top. Anyway, that's it for this week's No Filter Q&A. This episode will be going up on Tuesday, November 28th. As a reminder, our gift certificates will be at both gyms from now for the remainder of December. Okay. So pick up your gift card. Let us know the balance that you want us to put on there. We'll put it up there for you. I can also send them to you in the mail. DM me on my Instagram or email me at nick@foreverfitperformance.com or DM me on Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for supporting my business, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.